Hi, this is my audience. And my name is Morgan Redforth, and my speech today is about pro-life. Today I'll persuade you to believe that abortions should be illegal. Did you know that just about half of all pregnancies are unplanned or surprises, and 22% of all pregnancies end in abortion in the United States, according to Operation Rescue? Abortion is immoral and should not be legal anywhere in America. The percentages of abortion are disgusting, and it just goes to show that a lot of people don't have morals or values, and that needs to change. This topic is very important to me, considering that 20 to 29-year-olds account for 26.5% to 33.6% of all abortions in the United States annually. And I'm in that age range along with many other women at this university, according to Operation Rescue. I'll elaborate further on my views of why abortion is wrong, specifically focusing on the right that a lot of things have happened in the past that were legal but not necessarily right. Women shouldn't have the right to just kill their child, and babies even before birth are people too and have every right that we do. So let's get started. First, I'll talk about slavery and how relative it is to abortion. Most people wouldn't relate slavery to abortion. However, according to Glenn R. Morrow, there is no doubt that law as well as custom protected the slave so far as he was regarded as a piece of property. That just says essentially that slave owners took their slaves as property rather than humans, so they didn't treat them with any humanity, they didn't give them any rights that they had from birth, they didn't treat them as humans, they treated them as property. So an embryo or a fetus/baby could be looked at similarly in respect to abortion, and technically it is a piece of property to the woman because it is in fact part of her. And slaves were obviously living humans and were sometimes killed for no good reason other than they were slaves and slave owners didn't view them as people when they in fact were. So similar to slavery, the laws varied state to state on what was acceptable and what was not, and abortion follows the same rules. Not every state is legal to have an abortion in, and not every state can have, say you wanted to have an abortion at week 20, well, maybe that's not illegal in California, but it's illegal in Nevada. And there was a law for slavery on third-party protection, which could be taken as like a male in the situation. So say that you're pregnant and your boyfriend's like, oh no, you shouldn't have this baby. Well, he doesn't really have the right to tell you that you shouldn't have the child. And say you do decide to get an abortion, well, ultimately that was your decision. He can't take you to the doctor and say, okay, she's getting an abortion. You have to physically say it to them, and you have to sign papers. Like, you have to be committed to that. So you can't blame it on anyone else but yourself. And not everything that happened in the past that was legal was morally acceptable, and neither is the choice to kill an unborn baby. You don't have the right to take someone's life, and you can't just take someone's life if they don't even have a chance to have one in the first place. And about half of women, this is actually ridiculous, half of women with a scheduled abortion have already had a previous abortion done. That's according to Operation Rescue. And the percentage of abortion needs to be right next to zero rather than somewhere in the double digits. Roughly 1.08 million abortions were done in 2011. That's outrageous. And here I have a sesame seed, which is literally the same size as a 5-week-old baby, which would be somewhere around 3 millimeters long. But at 5 weeks old, the circulatory system is forming, and within that week, the heart will start pumping blood. At week 13, they're roughly 7.4 centimeters long and 23 grams in weight, and that's roughly the length of the average crayon. During week 13, fingernails begin to grow, and ovaries, if it's a female, ovaries begin to produce eggs, and they can have up to 2 million eggs at 13 weeks. So I'd like for someone to say that a 13-week-old baby in the womb is not a human, because I'm pretty sure that if you're a female, you have ovaries and they contain eggs. So if a baby inside of a stomach isn't considered a human, then it shouldn't have a heart, it shouldn't have skin, fingernails, it shouldn't have every trait that a human has as well. At week 19, the length of the average household fork, which would be 15.3 centimeters, and they could weigh up to 240 grams, which is far more than triple the size of they were 6 weeks ago. And at week 19, the baby develops all of their senses, so they can smell, they can hear, they can feel things, they can taste, and even at week 19, a baby can still be aborted in some states. We need to have a reality check and realize what is actually happening around us. We as humans need to be better informed on the topic, and abortions are preventable. We live in America. We live in a place where we have access to preventative materials such as birth control or condoms or other contraceptives. Birth control and condoms are relatively cheap in America, so I don't understand the point in someone saying, well, it was an accident. Well, if you were utilizing the sources at hand, it wouldn't have happened in the first place. And if the cost is a problem, well, Planned Parenthood exists literally to aid people who can't afford contraceptives. So go to Planned Parenthood and tell them that you can't afford it. They will give what you need to you. And even if you're embarrassed to go to Planned Parenthood, I'm sure that some OBGYNs will give you the free samples of birth control, and that will prevent you from getting pregnant. There's a 98.3% chance that you won't get pregnant taking birth control. So that's just one option. And then there are other ways to avoid it, such as adoption. According to Women's Health, who cited the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, says that 10% of women between the ages of 15 and 44 have difficulty becoming or staying pregnant. So it's ignorant to kill your probably or possibly 100% healthy baby when there are people around you that literally can't even have a baby but have the desire to have one. There's no excuse to kill something for your convenience. If everyone exercised their human rights and displayed them to their fetuses growing inside them rather than to abort them, it wouldn't be an issue. Babies are innocent. They're literally the most innocent things on the planet, and they've done no wrong. They don't deserve to be killed, and adoption not only saves lives, but it could turn a couple into a family and fill a void that could otherwise never be filled. But selfish people do selfish things, and if we raise our children to be selfless, we'd have a whole lot better. Not only will doing away with abortions benefit how babies are pictured, but it could save women too. Abortions are very risky and could harm the mother or even kill her, so I don't think that risking your life or your health to make your life a little bit more convenient for 9 months is worth it. So in conclusion, people argue that women have the right to choose what to do what they want with their body, but they don't really possess the right to kill someone, so I don't see how abortion's legal when if my neighbor were in my womb, I couldn't walk over next door and kill them because it's simply inconvenient to have them there. Convenience is no excuse to take away a baby's life due to the lack of morals. Abortions are avoidable and do not need to be happening today in America, but they are. We need to be better informed and take a stand up against pro-choicers. We should all be against abortion. No one wants to wake up in the morning and hear about how many women are killing their unborn babies. That's why they don't update you every morning on the news of how many abortions have happened so far this year. It's morbid and ignorant. We need to vote against abortions and get rid of this before any more babies fall victim. Thanks for listening.